roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. We sing in celebration. We sing with words of praise. We affirm our life as sacred. We declare that peace is here. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. You are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace.
Yes. And as we hold ourselves and our loved ones within those hands of grace, we take this moment to recognize that Spirit is all over this place today. And so we just acknowledge, celebrate, and come to this moment to say yes. Say yes to opening our hearts, opening our minds, and opening our ears to the message that is divinely within this speaking, within this moment, within this interaction. We just know that this gathering is already perfect. And so it is.
So it is.
Well, good morning. We are an interfaith gathering, a spiritual community that honors all teachings and all spiritual teachers. And now we begin the ceremony that celebrates this oneness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths come for the one universal presence, which we call Spirit. And Claire, you're one step ahead of me. Thank you so much. Our candlelighter this morning. Give it up for. Thank you so much, Miss Claire. Yes, so let us begin. The Tao. Honoring that God is perfect in all ways. No. Hey, we honor that the flame is fully lit whether or not we see it. That never changes.
That's a good lesson. Oh, isn't that funny?
I've got all day. Yes. The Tao. Honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. Shamanic tradition. Honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of pristine spirituality. Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We have Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And of course, New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And our last candle is the healing candle of love. We invite you in the stillness of your own mind to bring to awareness the names of anyone or anything that you wish to be included in this healing flame of love and light. And now that our flames of faith are fully lit, we move forward into our celebration, realizing and reaffirming that all paths lead to God. Thank you, Claire. All right, so please join me in our purpose, vision, and mission statement. First of all, our reason for being. We awaken and inspire love and oneness. Yes, and our vision. So what do we want to create or become? We are an empowered, uplifting, inclusive community. Yes, indeed. And our mission. How are we going to do this? Well, we teach spiritual transformation with grace and joy. Yes, 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 yes. All right, so today, our sacred reading. This was hard to narrow down, so I've got chunks from two. Our first from Charles Glassman. The way I see it, our natural human instinct is to fight or flee that which we perceive to be dangerous. Although this mechanism evolved to protect us, it serves as the single most greatest and limiting process to our growth. To put this process in perspective and not let it rule my life, I expect the unexpected. Make the unfamiliar familiar. Make the uncomfortable comfortable. Believe the unbelievable, and make the unknown known. For as Deepak Chopra says, the unknown is a field of all possibilities, ever fresh, ever new, always open to the creation of new manifestations. Without uncertainty and the unknown, life is just a stale repetition of outworn memories. And back to our music.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. Reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out, just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
That was amazing, darling. Amazing. Oh, I love that song so much. I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Okay, no. Well, good morning and welcome to Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Stevie. I am one of the many licensed practitioners here. And as we are kicking off today, let me remind you that one thing I was trained to do 5 years later is pray. And all of us here are available to you. So I always like to get up here and remind there's so many different ways to seek that support. And, the website is made super easy to put those prayer requests in. And we, as practitioners, get them at all hours of the day. So literally, you could wake up at 2 a.m., feel a certain type of way, send that out, and it's going to get to us immediately. So take advantage of that opportunity. As far as announcements go, you guys, there's only one announcement. I know. I had to I'm searching my paper. I'm like, wait a minute, where's the rest? No. Okay, so it is a huge announcement, actually, on that note. So we have our annual business meeting, which is going to be taking place next Sunday after service. It is still going to be held through Zoom, so really easy for people to join from the convenience of their own homes, if I may say. What do they call that? Bedside Baptist is what I've heard. So it is going to be really important because we do have 2 new leadership council members that are going to be elected. On that note, those ballots have already been mailed out. I know that I got mine, so they do need to be returned by, mark this date, I'll give you a chance to grab those calendars, April 23rd. So you have to have them turned back in by that time frame. And the caveat is, in order for that to be counted, that vote to be counted, we do have to see your lovely faces on that Zoom meeting. We'll be looking for you. So, and the information is going to be posted on our Facebook page, so it'll be really easy to get to. And again, that's all I have for announcements. So we are going to flash back to our special music, and then afterwards, the talk today by our very own Reverend Dawn, Bliss-itation. And when I tell you that I'm loving the concept already, Bliss-itation. Thank you.
It's all about allowing peace within. In absolute surrender, so serenity begins. For when the storm subsided and calm becomes a wave, it's all about allowing it to stay. It's all about allowing love to flow. It's setting down your burden and just simply letting go. For as you cease to struggle and love pours through your heart, it's all about allowing warm and shiny, new with promise, strong, undying love, different from any you have known. And now the seed is sown. It's all about allowing change to show, and living in the moment like it's all you've ever known. And though it won't be easy, you can truly say you tried, for it's all about allowing it inside. It's all about allowing love to flow. It's setting down your burden and just simply letting go. For as you cease to struggle and love pours through your heart, it was all about allowing it to start.
Wow. In Switzerland, there is a lake high in the Alps. It is a crescent-shaped lake. It's very big, and it's surrounded by the Alps. And the winds that blow come down through the valleys between these majestic peaks. It is said that there are over 70 different winds that come through these various valleys, and the combination of how the wind goes through. As sailors try to navigate this lake, the newer sailors will get on the lake and they use the wind and they tack and do all of the sailing techniques to navigate the lake. Now, the more experienced sailors get to the lake and they stop, and then they wait and they look around and they look for the ripples, and they see which of the valleys this wind is coming from, and they position themselves then to use this wind to their advantage so that they can reach their destination. It's really great to be back. Ann and I have been out the last few weeks. We've been doing some work up at our cabin outside of Talkeetna. What a great thing it was to get some of that work done. We've had deferred maintenance for well over a dozen years, and it's good to catch up on some of that. But as we prepared to go, I had a hesitation. I'm not as young as I was when we built the cabin, and the first day that we went up, when we were getting ready to leave, it was 14 below in Talkeetna. The wind was blowing, and you never know what you're going to encounter. There is a big thing of uncertainty about what lies ahead. There could be a moose on the trail. There could be trees that are down over the trail. You could have mechanical problems. There could be a whole host of different things that could make the trip impossible, or at least very, very difficult. And for me, I was experiencing a hesitation. Should we go? Maybe spend a night in Talkeetna so we can get a really early start. All types of hesitation. Now, once we get there, our cabin and the little area that we're in is beautiful. It's a unique place on this planet. There are, it's just absolutely beautiful. We have a southern exposure, and at the same time, we can look out and see McKinley. In fact, we can see most of the Alaska range. It's a view unparalleled. And it always seems like during the summer, it's a few degrees cooler up there. And during the winter, it always seems to be a few degrees warmer. Yes, it's got a wind, but it's more of a breeze. We don't seem to get that howling wind that we get sometimes in Alaska. It's just a very blissful spot. So as I contemplate arriving at this blissful spot, regardless of the time of year, there's also a hesitation. So I call that Bliss-itation. And that's the title of my talk today, is Bliss-itation. Last month we talked about listening to Spirit's input, listening to the divine speaking through us. This month I'm going to look more at what we do with that. Sometimes the divine inspirations that we get don't make any sense to us. So this month I'm going to talk a little more about implementation, how we put things into action. The three major points that I'm going to talk about today: first, I'm going to talk about oneness, then I'm going to talk about gratitude, and then I'm going to talk about catastrophe. That ought to be fun. So we start off with oneness. When we face that hesitation, it's wise to slow down and look for the ripples on the water, to see where that divine, infinite intelligence is guiding us. It's important to remember that we are one not only with one another, but we are one with God. We are one with that infinite intelligence. Back in the old foundations class, which was 13 weeks long, we did a thing where we studied what they call the 10 core concepts. And one of those core concepts is the concept of oneness. And when we experience hesitation or we hesitate on our path, it is symptomatic of embracing separation. We need only to realign and remember the core concept that oneness is our nature. And it is the nature of life itself. Ernest Holmes says it so well in The Science of Mind. Ernest Holmes wrote, "As we recognize our oneness with the infinite intelligence, we are set free from uncertainty and pain." Again, as we recognize our oneness with infinite intelligence, we are set free from uncertainty and pain. And so as we face that moment of Bliss-itation, it's wise to settle down and look for the ripples on the lake and see where that divine current is guiding us. One good way that we can do that is through the practice of gratitude. When we are grateful and we are practicing gratitude, it shifts our focus. It shifts our focus from that which we don't want, which we fear, to that which we do want, which we already experience, which we are already experiencing, and allows that to grow. In 2008, a young Australian woman by the name of Haley Bartholomew found that she was just flat not enjoying life. She described herself as feeling lost and stuck on a treadmill. It was inexplicable. She had a husband that she loved very dearly. She had wonderful kids that were the heart and the center of love in her life. They held her heart. So why was she feeling so down about her life? She sought the counsel of a nun who gave her the assignment of expressing gratitude for something every day. I don't know if many of you have had a session with a practitioner, but very often practitioners can give you an assignment, and sometimes that assignment is to journal every day about something for which you are grateful. Sometimes they do it morning and night. What Haley did in this case, though, was her hobby was photography. And so every day she would take a picture of something for which she was grateful. It changed her life. It allowed her to see things that she had never seen before. She had never thought of her husband as particularly romantic. But one day she snapped a picture as he was serving dinner. And as she looked at the picture, she realized that her piece of pie was the biggest. And she started thinking back in all of the small ways that he showed his love for her. Maybe not flowers and those kinds of things, but in the small things. And she began to really appreciate the love that her husband has for her. And she always thought of being a mom as being boring. And then she looked down at those pictures and she saw the little hands reaching up to her. And she felt that love in her heart. Playing, exploring, she discovered how much joy and wonder there was in their world and in her world. Through the art of gratitude, Haley found herself lifted out of her rut and celebrating life. So my third point is catastrophe. Catastrophe can lead to breakthroughs. In 1979, the tugboat, pronounce this properly, Cahaba, was headed down the Tombigbee River in Alabama. The current is flowing fast, and as the tug pilot approaches a bridge, he would release the coal barges, let him go, and the fast current would carry him under the bridge, and he'd throw his tug into reverse, twin 1,800 horsepower engines, and navigate away. And he had done this dozens and dozens of times. He was very proficient at it. But on this day, something went wrong, and the tug was pushed sideways and then it smashed into the pilings of the bridge. Onlookers were terrified. They knew no good could come from this. And it appeared that he was going to be pinned against this piling when all of a sudden the tug sank. It went straight down. The onlookers were terrified. And as they watched in horror, poop, up popped the tug on the other side. Not only were the engines still running, but the captain was still standing behind the wheel. They were amazed. But there's a great lesson in this. There's a parable out of this story. For you see, the reason that tug sank so fast was the reason that it popped back up upright. And that is that in order to give that tug ballast in the waters of this river, it was filled, the entire bottom of the hull of the boat was filled with over 3 feet of concrete. So there's a tremendous amount of weight at the very bottom of the boat. And you see, we're like that. When we have that grounding, when we have that ballast, we have the recognition of our oneness with a power that's greater than we are. We can remain upright and we can bounce back up to the surface. So this catastrophe actually ended up being a miracle. We can get through these catastrophes and emerge upright on the other side. And if anybody wants to know, you can contact me later, and there are some amazing pictures of this event. Another example of what could be looked at as a catastrophe that ends up being something better, we get from the world of nature. And there is a certain species of eagles who build their nest high on cliffs overlooking the ocean. And as the mother eagle lays her eggs and she hatches them one by one, they hatch out. She nourishes them. She flies out and she gets food and brings it back. And as the eaglets grow, one day she decides that it's time. And she burrows into her nest. And one by one, she forces these little eaglets up to the edge of the nest. And then she pushes them over. And these small, tiny eaglets fall. And in terror, they're terrified. Their heartbeats are up. And they're coming down and plummeting down. And then something magical happens. Instinctively, they spread out their wings, and that plummet becomes a fall. And then the fall becomes a glide. And these little eaglets are caught on the updrafts, and soon they are soaring at the heights with their mother. So what was a terrifying experience for this little eaglet has actually been a lesson that it learned to fly. This is a great ending. It is in that split second of terrifying danger that the chick comes face to face with itself and face to face with a wider reality. In that terrifying moment, the chick discovers what it is. And without that terrifying moment, it will never learn to soar. You see, we're a lot like that chick. Sometimes we need that terrifying moment. Sometimes we need to sit in that moment of bliss-itation and take the hesitation and face the fear that's before us and plunge ahead down the trail, not knowing if it's going to be a moose or it's going to be a failure, if it's going to be a tree down, regardless of what it is, but being aware that there is a divine presence, a power that's greater than we are that's with us. Now, I'd like to report that I very bravely recognized my oneness with all, and we went on down the trail. But I tell you, I didn't realize that until I was working on this talk. I just white-knuckled it through. I just said, we're going to do it. We're going to keep going. But I was able to get through and able to experience the bliss on the other side. The vast feeling of accomplishment that it took to get there, to stay warm, and to get some work done on our cabin was powerfully rewarding, terribly blissful. And fortunately, I recognized that we did have with us all along that infinite presence, that source. The thing that I want you to take away today, the conclusion. This is our big takeaway today. If God is all there is, then everything in our life is God. Doubt of the circumstances in our human experience is calling for reconnecting our humanness with a spiritual essence. The hesitation that we experience in our life is a blessing. It offers an opportunity to remember the fundamental truth that God is all in our life. And if we don't like it or understand it, all of it is pointing us to the fundamental principles of New Thought and our teachings at this center. There isn't this life, my life, and then God's life. There is only one life. So let us move forward in conviction. And so it is with that conviction that I invite my colleagues, the practitioners, those that are here in our studio, as well as those that are home, to join me in holding our congregation, our city, our state, our nation, our world in love, and recognizing that that infinite presence is with us all the time, because we are expressions of that infinite presence. So the things that we face in life, they might be those inspirations to take us to another level, to take us from the fear of falling out of the nest into soaring at the heights. As we face life itself, We may have periods of time of lack and limitation, and we may feel less than. We may feel that we don't have enough than. We know that we live in an abundant universe, and as we give thanks for that magnificent abundance, it is returned to us. We know that as we face health challenges, we know that on the other side there is absolutely perfection. There is life eternal. We know that as we feel separation from one another and separation from God, that it is impossible to be separate from God, because God is in, around, through, and as each and every one of us at every moment. And as we connect with that indwelling presence, we are connecting with one another, because that indwelling presence is in each and every one of us. And so we seek behind behavior. We look behind political beliefs. We look behind all of that, and we see that indwelling presence in one another. And so we just give thanks. We give thanks for our awareness of the power and the presence of God within each of us at every moment. So we just give thanks, we let it go, and we step onto our path with bliss-itation, hesitation, recognizing the presence of God. And we accept the bliss in our lives. And so it is.
When everything changes, I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes and I can change too. Used to be when things got crazy, I'd get to feeling low, but I found out I can't let that faze me. Honey, now I know. When everything changes, I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes and I can change too. Who expects the unexpected? Life sneaking up on you, when sometimes we all feel disconnected. What you gonna do? When everything changes, I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes and I can change too. Who's to say why it works this way? Well, it's kind of strange, but it's true. When everything changes, I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes and I can change too. Everything changes and I can change too. Everything changes and I can change too.
Thank you so very much, Aaron and Jessica. You guys really make our service. And I want to take a minute to thank everyone in our production crew. It takes a village. And I just really appreciate every one of you, because everyone has such an important part in bringing this all together. Without our audio-visual crew, we would be nothing. So Neil, Amy, Bob, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, and without Claire, I wouldn't be able to tell welcome to all of the people that we see today. Tiffany, Michelle Kuntz, Sam, Linda and Midnight, Don Knapp, Cynthia George, Joan, Lynn and Marion, Shelley Jean, Judy Wolf, Karen, and Heaven's favorite from Ghana joins us today. So we've got people from Ghana to Talkeetna. What a contrast that is. So thank you all for everything you do. And shout out to Stevie. I think perhaps the hardest job next to the audio-visual people is is being the practitioner of the day, the platform prac. That is a wide field, boy, and you've got to be good on a lot of different things. And Stevie, you are just doing an awesome job. Thank you so very much. So now it's the time in the service where we are afforded the opportunity to, oh, and I forgot Ann. We wouldn't have slides, we wouldn't have words to the music, we wouldn't have anything without my lovely bride of 51 years, Ann. So now's the time in our service where we are afforded the opportunity to participate in the law of circulation. And here comes the basket on the 10-foot pole, so we are COVID safe. Let's see what we have today. Oh my goodness, there's some new things here. It's going down. Feel like that, what is it, Fred Meyer's commercial. No. When I allow the others to support me, I support them too. Awesome. Please join me in our affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Let there be less of me, let there be more of thee, less of the human, more of the divine, less that belongs to me, more that is thine, more of God's nature, and less that is mine. Order and harmony now are in place. Where there is harmony, discord will cease. Where there is harmony, there will be peace. Not personality, individuality. More of the Spirit self shining through me. Teach me humility, let me your servant be. Give me serenity, selfless and free. Order and harmony now are in place. Where there is harmony, discord will cease. Where there is harmony, there will be peace. Let there be less of me, let there be more of thee, less of the human, more of the divine, less of the human, more of the divine.
And as we recognize that we are all divine, I ask, how will you navigate through the lakes of life? Let us position ourselves accordingly to see those ripples in the water, knowing that oneness is our nature and the nature of life itself. And by recognizing this, we are set free of uncertainty and pain. And so therefore, we let gratitude ignite our fire and lift us out of any rut, because we know that that same weight that can pull us underwater may just be our saving grace that brings us upright. And so we trust in that. We know that, and we affirm that. And so it is. Yes, and our affirmation for today: I expect the unexpected.
I expect the unexpected.
I make the unfamiliar familiar.
I make the unfamiliar familiar.
I make the unknown known.
I make the unknown known.
And so it is.
And so it is. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit from my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife with my